Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Alex LaFountain. And Alex has this question. Do I believe that it is possible that Goddess and God could have created alien life forms on other planets? And if so, how does this affect our worldview as Wiccans given our connection to nature? And there are so many different ways that I could take this question. We could examine the definition of the word create, the word alien, the word life, and the word nature, all in addition to the basic question itself. And we may in fact look at some of those, but let's start with the basic question. Do I believe that deity could have brought forth life forms on other planets? And my answer to that is that given what we know about the number of stars in the universe, the number of planets orbiting those stars, the number of moons orbiting those planets, I really don't see how it's possible that there could not be life on other planets. I think that given the sheer number of them, it would be extremely improbable that there would not be life on other planets, and particularly in light of things that we've recently learned about Mars and Venus, both of which now are thought to have had conditions favorable to life during their course of existence. I think that we have to conclude that yes, life must exist elsewhere in the universe, and I think that life must kind of move around through the universe, with certain planets being hospitable to life for many millions of years and then not, and others becoming hospitable which were not formerly. So I think that life is in a constant and perpetual dance throughout the universe. And I think that not only must there be many planets that host life now, I think there must be many others that once did and do not now, and many more that do not now but one time will in the future. So my answer to the basic question is yes, I absolutely think that deity must have brought forth and will bring forth again life on many other planets. I don't think that with this number of planets it could be otherwise. Particularly considering my view that the nature of the universe is for the soul to learn and grow and more fully embody spirit, it would not seem practical to be otherwise as well. So yes, I think that must be the case. Now, how does this affect our worldview as Wiccans, given our relationship to nature? Well, for myself, it does not. When we talk about nature, in my mind, we are talking about all that exists. It's not only this little part over here, it's everything. And therefore, the idea that there would be life on other planets has nothing to do with my concept of nature because those other planets are part of nature. It may not be part of my particular ecosystem, but that's another question. On our own planet right here, we have many different ecosystems, and many of them we as humans could not live in. There is life at the bottom of the oceans where we could not exist in our natural state, and they are part of nature. There is life in microscopic quantities that we cannot perceive with our naked eye, and perhaps even things we cannot yet perceive with machinery. And they exist every day, living their lives, and are part of nature, despite being not really part of our everyday experience. And so why it should be different for something outside of this planet, I don't see a reason. I see that it's all nature. This planet is nature, the next planet over is nature. All of the planets in the universe are part of nature, which is the emanation of spirit. And so I don't see that it affects my worldview at all in terms of my reverence for nature. It's part of nature. Now, having said this, we've addressed this subject in the vlog before in a number of ways, including, for example, how we might alter our view of the Sabbats if we were in an extraterrestrial age where we lived on many planets. Of course, the way we celebrate Sabbats would change according to the planet we happen to be on, or not on if we were not in fact on a planet. But that does not change the fact that we are honoring the natural cycles of life. Even around the world now, Wiccans in different parts of the world do not always observe the Sabbats in the same way. In some cases, they are reversed because of hemisphere. Some Wiccans in some places have changed their Sabbats because they feel that the seasons manifest differently in their area. So there are many possible variations. It does not change the fact that our sabbats observe the cycles of nature. They just might not be the same everywhere. I was asked once also about astrology. In the age of space travel, would it be different? And of course it would. And why wouldn't it be? But that doesn't mean that we would not find new ways to continue old practices. So as you see, how we define the term nature is very important to how we look at this question. And for me, nature is all that is. And so it would not alter my point of view. How we define the term life is also important. And it, in some ways, is even more important to how we look at this question than the definition of nature. I believe that everything is alive. It may not be alive in the same way we, as humans, are alive, but it is alive. And if you have read my first degree lessons, you know that I talk about personifying the spirit of stones and other things which, from a mundane point of view, are inanimate, but from a spiritual point of view, can be very animated. And so when we talk about life on other planets, we're not only necessarily talking about physical, but also spiritual life, which as people who are sensitive to energy, we would also surely encounter. So it's a very complex and interesting question, and that would be my answer to it. Yes, absolutely, I believe that firstly, life exists everywhere in a spiritual sense, and in a physical sense, it must surely exist elsewhere as well. And this is all part of nature. It does not change my view of nature at all. So, I hope you find that helpful and interesting, and until next time, may you blessed be.